say, I'm the unsilent majority, big mouth.
One member of that Senate that actually understands the law because she was a lawyer of some standing before going into the Senate is our regular contributor on a Thursday, New South Wales Liberal Senator Concetta Fierravanti-Wells. Connie, good morning.
Stephen, good morning to you.
It's extraordinary that there are your colleagues in the Senate think that they should be siding on the guilt and innocence of a person over criminal matters.
Look, I think that some people throughout this whole issue and pertaining to the allegations against Christian Porter have forgotten that the rule of law must prevail in this country. Now, basically, we had a situation where the New South Wales Police completed their investigation. The matter is still with the South Australian coroner, let's not forget, and the South Australian Police are in the process of undertaking investigations on his behalf. And after that investigation, the coroner will decide if there will be a coronial inquiry. There are appropriate places for the matter to proceed, as you have correctly said in your introduction, and that's where the matter should be.
Absolutely. Now, this is there's been a lot of criticism of the federal government with regards to the rollout of the coronavirus vaccine, but some of it has been a little bit misplaced. But still no target for aged care workers to have received the coronavirus vaccination. This is ridiculous.
Well, Stephen, I have to say there have been certainly challenges in relation to the vaccine rollout. Now, the aged care minister has come under questioning this week, and as he's indicated to the Senate, and I just refer to what he said on Tuesday, he made comments both Tuesday and yesterday, there has had to be a reset of the vaccination process. There's also consideration by National Cabinet in relation to making in principle disposition to mandating aged care and disability workforce COVID vaccinations, and at the moment the Australian Health Protection Principal Committee is looking at that. Now, we know that with the influenza vaccinations, they can be mandated under state public health orders and other legislative arrangements in the state based on health advice. So I think that National Cabinet will await the view of the committee to proceed on that basis. Having said that, the workforce have access to the vaccine via their GP clinics, InReach program, and basically every aged care worker who wants access to a vaccine right now has access to the vaccine right now, as the minister said.
One of the, I've heard it suggested that because in aged care a lot of the workforce is volunteer, it's very hard to mandate these things anyway, whereas in healthcare, where they're employed professional staff, and let's face it, they're more likely to want to get vaccinated anyway, that is a part of the problem with getting workers in aged care vaccinated. Is that right?
Look, I think, Stephen, ultimately, if there is a decision that it does need to be mandatory, just like other processes have been put into place, then I'm sure that the appropriate state and territory health authorities will find the way, just like they do with the flu vaccine.
Yep.
I think it's important. There definitely have been issues in relation to aged care and disability, and an important component of that is the workforce. And I think what is important is they themselves go and access the vaccine that is available to them.
Indeed. Well, I got my first shot last weekend, and I'm booked in for the second one in 2 weeks.
Well, I've had my first shot already, and so we'll just see. It was fine.
We're on our way. Now, Australia and the UK have reached an in-principle agreement on a free trade deal. My concern is that these free trade deals always seem to tilt very much in favour of the other side, but this one seems to be pretty good for us.
Yes, it's certainly a significant step towards an Australia-UK free trade agreement. Now, the legal test has to be finalised and the technical processes proceeded with to ensure that it's signed and then, of course, enters into force. As it's been indicated to us, more Australian jobs and opportunities for exporters, particularly Australian producers and farmers, will have better access to the UK market. And, of course, there'll be other things that'll be cheaper for Australians as well. So, I mean, let's not forget, Stephen, that the UK is already a valued trade partner. It was in 2019, 2020, our fifth largest trading partner. It's the third largest source of foreign direct investment, and it's also it's already a relationship which is an important one for us, and I think with this agreement will be even more so.
Indeed. Now, the ADF has announced that it's going to fund the upgrade of a major Papua New Guinea naval base. Since Peter Dutton's taken over as Defence Minister, we seem to be getting serious about our defence capabilities.
Well, this is an important milestone in the relationship, in the security relationship between Australia and PNG. Basically, the works will support the redevelopment of the Lombrum Naval Base and help build PNG's Defence Force capability, basically to protect their borders and maritime resources. So I understand that construction will start later this year. There'll be local jobs both in PNG and, most importantly, on Manus Island. Let's not forget that Lombrum was a naval base for the US for many years. It was established by the US in 1944 and then went on to be redeveloped by Australia. It became HMAS Seed Adler and then HMAS Terrigal, and indeed was an important refuelling, maintenance and stores point for the Royal Australian Navy ships that were travelling between Australia and Southeast Asia. So it's also been a place where the Royal Australian Navy, the Papua New Guinea division of the Royal Australian Navy, had its base. So it does have a long history, and certainly is one which will continue in that vein.
Now, as an Australian with a proud Italian heritage like myself, this week marks the 700th anniversary of the death of Dante Alighieri, of course responsible largely for the modern Italian language and, of course, some great literary masterpieces. Canberra is home to the Dante Alighieri Society.
Yes, and I chose earlier this week to mark the 700th anniversary of Dante's passing. He, of course, is best known worldwide for his masterpiece, La Divina Commedia, the Divine Comedy, which is not only a landmark of Italian literature, but it's universally considered one of the world's literature's greatest poems. And so it not only had impact in its time, but continues to have impact through the centuries. And, of course, the Italians celebrate every year. But this year, it being the 700th anniversary, there will be commemorations of his passing throughout the world.
Well, I tell you what, to celebrate Italy's 3-0 victory over Switzerland in the football this morning, I'll bring some Italian pastries down to Parliament House later this morning.
Good on you, Stephen.
All right, we'll talk then.